March 8th, 2018, Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Another video from the channel. I do have a little bit of news to update you guys on. This isn't a very long video, so I'll just go ahead and jump right into it. We'll start with a little bit of news from Verizon. They are usually pretty hush when it comes to news like this, but they have finally, talked a little bit about some of the network upgrades that they've been doing. So as of right now, it's estimated that Verizon has put about 62% of all of their new wireless upgrades from 2017 into small cell deployment. So, in 2017, this is at 62%. That's a pretty high majority, a big piece of what they're doing in terms of the network. Expect 2018 to be very similar, if not more. Maybe that number comes up to about 70, 75%. And then moving into 2019 with, 5G upgrades and building out of the 5G network, you're probably going to see that jump up to about an 85 to 90% of most of what they're doing for 5G. It'll be through small cells. So a lot of their investment going in that direction. A little bit of news from T-Mobile. So according to their CTO, Neville Ray, the tax reform has freed up a lot of money, and a lot of that is going to go into their network infrastructure. So, his direct quote is, they're not going to be looking into making any type of acquisitions. So that's clearly a jab towards Verizon and AT&T. It's just kind of interesting that he said this. This was his quote after T-Mobile completes the Layer 3 TV deal recently. So something that T-Mobile's always kind of done is just, try to generate the buzz, maybe, do things to kind of create a stir, even though it's kind of like they're throwing rocks from a glass house. But they're going to be looking to invest into their network tremendously. Expect some noise from them, in the 3.5 gigahertz spectrum auctions that are up and coming here in the future very soon. So that's going to be more of their action. Also, some extra cash to shareholders. We like to see happy shareholders. That gets them to believe in where they've got their dollars. So a little bit more coming from the CEO, Neville Ray. He says that there's been quite a bit of upgrades to the network recently. They said hundreds of cell sites within the last few weeks have been upgraded to increase mid-band capacity. And he specifically said over the last few weeks. So most of these upgrades have been thought to be happening in suburban areas. So, in inner city and urban areas, city centers, they've been doing very well in the speeds and the capacity, so they don't need the upgrades. But apparently it's been the suburbs. So, this adds a lot of capacity, will improve speeds. The mid-band capacity upgrades definitely have some good distance to them. It's not, obviously, the most ideal for distance, but it does help a lot. It definitely is going to provide capacity and speeds, giving the network some balance in those areas. So I'd like to hear from you guys. Have you noticed any performance changes in your market or in your region if you're in those suburban areas? I'd like to know. Maybe there's some people here on the channel that have noticed it. Moving over to AT&T, we do have some numbers from their Q4 results that are kind of really important, actually, and you can see them here on this on the picture that I have on my screen there. So all carriers pretty much showed some growth in Q4 of 2017. The best of the big four clearly was AT&T with 2.7 million ads. So their ads, are very, very good there. I'm not really sure what exactly it was that did it, but maybe it was just switching to unlimited and people knowing about it. Maybe it had something to do with some of their promos with their devices or any of their like DirecTV services, with Uverse or whatever. But, people are switching to them. They've got a lot of ads there. Verizon has always kind of been the big player in all of this. So it's always been like Verizon, AT&T. Now it's been T-Mobile and then Sprint. So Verizon kind of has created space. They've always been at about 10 million more than AT&T, but that gap kind of has closed a bit. Now it's at about 8.9 million difference. So AT&T kind of, creating a shorter distance between them and Verizon. If you kind of look at these churn rates, you'll see Verizon and AT&T still have the best churn rates. They're very low. Both are sub 1.5. You can see Verizon's is very low. Not many people leaving them, as well as AT&T at 1.38. But there is some good news from T-Mobile. They do have the 1.8 million ads. Sprint with, zero point 0.4 million ads. So, they're definitely ads are good. I mean, we want to see growth from the companies. But yeah, Verizon's still the only company with over 150 million subscribers, and they did add 1.6 million last quarter. So they're doing just fine. No worries there. Now, moving into, the following quarters, through the rest of the year, they want to increase profitability. They want to see that they've got a lot of cash ready to invest in their 5G build-outs of their networks. So they're going to want to kind of put an end to a lot of the promos that, people have been locked into for like the last year or two. So whether it's Sprint or T-Mobile, Verizon or AT&T, you're probably not going to see too much coming from them. You may see an occasional month where something is going on, but it's going to be much quieter. So, 2018 and moving into 2019, they're going to be looking to make a lot of money. Devices in 2019 are actually going to be 5G ready. There is going to be some consumer interest in 5G readiness at that time. So, the promos are going to end, the profitability has to go up. We're expecting to see that happen. And the last little bit of news I have from carriers is Sprint. I guess what they're basically doing is they're trying to free up some money. They're trying to create an insurance policy to making sure they have some money to invest into, probably the next year or two into 5G. So they created and secured a lot of money in the form of bonds. These are asset-backed bonds, which are using a lien on a lot of valuable spectrum holdings that they have. So apparently they're going to have somewhere between $4 and $7 billion from these bonds, which is basically going to be for investment into network deployments in the next 2 years. So they'll probably use that money this year, probably towards the end of 2018 and then 2019, to kind of upgrade the network and make sure that they're competitive with the rest of the big carriers, because they are probably lacking in terms of network performance. And the last bit of news coming from Samsung, Q1 performance, profitability has been down. They are citing that weak iPhone sales, the iPhone 10 specifically, has kind of been the reason for this. We know that Samsung has provided the OLED panels for the iPhone 10, and the iPhone 10 hasn't sold as well as they expected it to. So Samsung's going to be looking for a bounce-back quarter. You could probably expect it. The S9 looks like a great device, the S9 Plus as well. Samsung always sells tons of those phones, and there's a lot of buzz around them right now. Camera quality seems to be amazing. People like the design. It's probably the best display in the market. Highest performing Android probably on the market right now. So let me know what you guys think about any of the topics covered in the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'd appreciate a share and a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is Steve from Steve Mobile Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.